Hey, it's Vandalyn Smith with Living Benefits Wealth, where we discuss the life and life insurance. I wanted to come in on this day here and talk about policy reviews. So today's video is going to be about policy reviews. And so with that being said, I wanted to start out with a story about one of my clients that I had. It was time for his policy review, and with policy reviews, I like to do a policy review yearly, especially if you just got your contract. So the following year, I would like to make sure that you're still that your life insurance policy is still working good for you, and you don't need to make any changes. You don't have any buyer's remorse, whatever the case. So I like to check in. So it was time for his policy review, and I was calling to set up a time with him to go over the policy. And at first he was a little confused because he was like, yeah, we still got the policy. And from the conversation, the way he was talking to me, I could tell he was like, well, it's a life insurance policy. I mean, what are we supposed to be excited about? I guess he was kind of like, he was like, well, reviews, well, we haven't had to use it, and which is a good thing. So what are we reviewing? And then I heard his wife in the background. Is that even necessary? And that's fine. It's all well and good. Yeah, it is necessary, because a lot of times we get these life insurance policies and we set it and forget it, which, yeah, you don't want to have to think about it. You got it, and you got it in the background, it's running, it's on your life. Great. But have you thought about times where you've had to make a change? Like you might have an address change. You may have someone that you need to add to the policy. You may have had a child. You may have gotten married. Whatever the case may be. These are reasons that you need to have a policy review. So yes, it is necessary, because you don't want to get to a point to where it's time to use it and then it's not suitable for you. Or you're thinking, maybe I need to increase my coverage. You know, you buy a home and it's time to, the policy that you have is not sufficient to cover your mortgage or cover your new payment that you have to make out, because remember that life insurance is considered an income replacement as well. So it's a vehicle that's used to insure one's life, of course, but because that person is no longer here, they're no longer able to bring in income. So the policy helps fill in the gaps where their income has now been cut off. And so you want to make sure that the policy is still doing what it needs to do, or will do what it needs to do when it's time to use it. Also, depending on what kind of life insurance policy you have, you may need to make adjustments, because you may be using the policy for retirement purposes. You want a retirement supplement, and the policy might not be performing the way that you want it, and you want to make some adjustments. Or it could be that you want to add some, it's not performing. So you feel like, well, maybe I need to add more money to it. I need to add some more coverage to my policy, so I can make sure that I am on par with the goals that we set out when we first structured and opened the policy up, or first got the policy going. So the reasons that you would want to have, let's recap, because I just said a whole lot. The reasons why you may want to consider doing a policy review is, let me make sure that I got it, because I said changes. Any changes, you may have beneficiary changes. You want to make sure that you get those changes made on your policy. You may have any address changes. Is your policy coverage still enough based on any changes that you've had in your life? You may have a new home, some new responsibilities that you're responsible for. Is that coverage enough to cover that mortgage or whatever loan or whatever it is that you have, other debt that you may have? And it was one thing that I got a question about. The reason why I brought up policy reviews, another reason why I brought up policy reviews. Some people ask questions like, well, I've had this policy since 1985. I've had this policy since 1985. Why am I still paying on this policy? Well, that's a good question. So, we have what we call term policies and we have whole life policy. Whole life policies cover your whole life. So typically you would be paying for that your whole life, depends on how it was structured. But a review could reveal that you've already paid into the policy as much as the policy is going to pay out. So really and truly, you're now overpaying that policy, whereas the policy is only like, if the policy is only like $20,000 and you've already paid $20,000 or over $20,000 into the policy, then there may be some tweaks that we need to make to see if we can get you into some better coverage or get some cash or something out of that policy. So that's the reason why it's a good idea to review your policies on a regular basis. And just wanted to bring that to your awareness because, set it and forget it. But then when it's time to use, it's not enough. So policy reviews, if you're not doing them, make sure that you're doing them. Call your agent and, go over the policy. Of course, if there's something that you're looking at and you see that it's not quite right, because everything could be fine. And, but I want you to be cognizant of the changes that need to be made. Just have that in the back of your mind. Hey, make sure my policy is still good based on my goals, based on any changes that may have occurred in my life. Okay. So with that being said, this is Vandalyn Smith with Living Benefits Wealth. Thank you for watching this video. And if you would like a policy review, just reach out to me and I'll be glad to do a policy review.